We've been trying to do the intro to this bit with Dominic Herbertson for the last, 35 seconds, and it's impossible to get him to sit still for 5 minutes. He's my next guest on Mountain Memories. And Dom, I think it's fair to say with you and your dad's history at the Isle of Man, Titi, your memory goes back a long, long way. Tell us about your first time coming to the Isle of Man, and welcome back to the Isle of Man, if not being that, it's virtually.
Oh, there we go then. But I'd rather be there myself. But obviously, the weird times that we live in, Chris. It is you can only deal with the hand you've got, can't you? Sometimes. But no, thank you very much for having us on the show, and looking forward to answering your nonsense of questions. And I'm quite. It's a bit weird. Normally, I'm looking physically down on you. You're the only person shorter than me, so I love that. Not in intellectual standards, though, Chris. Don't get us wrong.
So we're about a minute in, he's already started abusing me. Let's go back to your first memory of the Isle of Man. We need to. This is what we're looking for. Tell us about it. Can you remember it?
Oh, to be honest, no, not really. It's just been a blur now. Obviously, like our family. Now, my dad's race, as you know, and as you mentioned, we've just been going over as a family holiday for years and years and years. But even growing up around the Isle of Man, we grew up at the Manx Grand Prix paddock, which has now been put into the classic TT, and it's obviously that little bit different. But going over every August was just, we took it for granted. Now, lots of people go, and it's part of their, bucket list to go even spectate. Now, us Herbertsons, we took it for granted. Me and my two older sisters, it was just like, there goes the family holiday. Now, other kids get to go to Florida, or they go off to the Lake District. No, we're very lucky that we get to go to the mecca of road racing. But at the time, we didn't realise what that was, to be blunt. You know what I mean? It wasn't that atmosphere of going, oh, look how lucky you are. It was just meant we get to go play with our mates in the skate park. We'll go down to the beach, and then. But my earliest memory of it is not exactly a place, but my earliest engravement of it was seeing my dad's face, how happy he was. Now he's never had the money to go off and do any other like anything else. Now, he was very lucky that he got put in classic racing, and the lasting memory is just seeing how happy he is when he got off a bike at the TD or around the mountain course, shall we say. And in the rest of the year, he's just he's a proper parent. You know what I mean? Just clips me around the head when he can, and he keeps his kids in line, as they also a parent should. But seeing him really just let go for 2 weeks, that was my first proper engraving memory of the place.
Was that always your big plan then, was to come and do the Manx Grand Prix and then move up to the June races? Was that always your plan? Was that always the key for you?
To be honest, it was... My key thing was just being able to compete. Like, not compete is the wrong thing. To go and do it. There was a big difference between going there and competing and going there and doing it. And obviously, like with the Manx, that was a fantastic stepping stone. Obviously, I've grown up. All I really knew was the Manx Grand Prix as such. The TT was a huge... There was a difference, and there still is a difference, sadly, between the Manx Grand Prix and the TT. And what I mean by that is the money injection and the sheer utter speeds. Now, don't get me wrong, people that compete at the Manx and the Classic TT and the TT all achieve the same highly incredible achievement of just going there and finishing. And if you're lucky enough to finish, that is something that people go there and try and achieve all the time. But for me, it was very much a case of wanting to go there and do it and say I've done it, just to reflect, to do something that my dad's done, following his footsteps. But like everything, it became so much more after doing it myself. It was just like, I got off the bike at doing my first lap. A newcomer lap doesn't really count. I'm going to be very honest about that. It's very much a ticket box in the exercise. Calm yourself down before you get such an adrenaline fix. And you go around and you think, this is good. And you do remember your newcomer's lap. But when you get the tap on the shoulder and off you go by yourself, that's when you really start to learn a place. And I remember coming in going, how do I do this for the rest of my life? And that's where the competitive side came into this. And then you did your first lap. You think, how do I go a little bit faster and a little bit faster and a little bit faster? But at no point did I ever think I would be seeded at the TT.
Mm.
Ever. That's the truth of it.
Let's go back to the Manx Grand Prix then. When you stepped off the boat for that one, not for a family holiday, but to do it for real, 6th place in Newcomers B, 18th in the Manx Grand Prix Super Twin. But that's 7 years ago.
That's scary, isn't it?
Where's that time gone?
That's phenomenal, because like that would have been 2013, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
2013, and my first ever year on a bike was 2012. I never did motocross or anything, but I got my road license the year before that, because my dad said to us, look, if you want to do the Manx, you're going to have to, first of all, pay for it yourself. I've been very, that's it. You never had, we never had the money to go, but they are, son. My parents did a proper job and buy. What that I mean is they didn't give something to me that they couldn't give the girls.
Mm.
So if they gave me, they are, son, there's a motorcycle, them two would want, I don't know, a Bugatti Veyron. That's the same comparison and price of racing motorcycles. But in 2012, I got my road license because I could skip novice, you see. I didn't have to do 2 years, and then I could go straight from 1 year, and you had to get 10 signatures over 3 different circuits, but then you had to finish in the top 93% of your time for the ACU.
Okay.
So you had to go there for my first season thinking, I want to do the Manx next year. And I just went nuts at it. I saved up all my money and just went absolutely hammer and tail it. So I went to Knockhill with the North East Club. I went to Croft with the North East Club. I went to a circuit that you've probably never heard of, East Fortune.
Yeah.
In Scotland, God's country up there. If you want a proper track, it's East Fortune, where your runoff is literally a potato field. It's fantastic.
Well, you get a free meal anyway in these tough times. Let's move forward a little bit. Let's talk about the Kawasaki thing. But first, before I do that, because obviously, winning around in August, winning around the mountain course in August, how special is that going to sit on those shoulders, those broad Dominic Herbertson shoulders for years to come?
No, it was. Now, my dad achieved a podium behind one of your local Nutter residents, Chris Palmer, obviously TT winner and everything. But to go around and win yourself was just, without sounding cliche and like a chick flick from it, a 90s film, it was unbelievable, and it's something that we can replicate now, and it was a huge confidence boost as me as a rider. And then after doing it that year, then getting on a new bike on the Kawasaki with a new team, like the Davies Motorsport in the modern paddock, very, very, very well known, highly respected in the classic world, and they could build competitive bikes. I hopped on and I was racing for the win with Jamie Coward and Michael Rutter and a fair few other lads. But to be able to transfer that back on to the Kawasaki on the same year, we went from 127s to just shy of 130s. And like our track, the Davies team got the Kawasaki straight from, oh God, they'll hate me for this, but we got it from the MSS lads, and then just went straight from there, put it on, went to the Northwest. The bike, unfortunately, we found all the teething problems electronic-wise, and then went to the TT how, I don't have to tell you and your listeners how rubbish the weather was at the TT that year. It was, I think we all would have done better on bloody Kawasaki jet skis, man, never mind anything else.
So what about this season? What was the plan for the season? Obviously with the Davies Motorsport team on the Kawasaki and the classic bikes, but the plan was to come back here again and do the whole season. I mean, Northwest 200, TT, Scarborough's, Ulster Grand Prix, all sorts. But at the moment, nothing.
Nothing. It's just
working, probably.
Wait, to be honest, and even we won't even go down the working route, Chris. We won't even go down the working route. But obviously, I'm very lucky that I'm getting little bits of work. And there's a lot of people out there that aren't getting any work at all. So you've got to count your blessings where you can. But I think everyone says this as a rider. Oh, this is going to be my best year yet. This is going to be my best year yet. If you're going into racing without that attitude, you shouldn't be on the track. If you're not there to go and try and beat yourself or improve on yourself, there's no point going. In my book,
absolutely,
totally in my book. But the team, we had a fantastic idea. You know, I've got a lot of I had a lot of personal sponsors who are really behind me for this year. And I can't thank them enough. We even started like a 130 club, Chris. That like to go to the TD to try and beat the 130. And now, now don't get me wrong. You know, all them amazing people who are part of the club. You know, that's gonna just carry on into 2021 when we get back to the TT.
Because even though you're getting a bit of help from Kawasaki and the Davis team, you're still effectively privateers, aren't you?
Oh, totally. You know, as far as the support that we get from, you know, Kawasaki, it's the same with really as all the other TT teams. You know, we get a bit of, you know, not financial backing. You know, we get product help and a little bit of product help. And the good thing about the Kawasaki the best thing about the Kawasaki lads is they're always forefront with information. You know, they're not scared to pick up. You know, if you pick up the phone to them, they're there to help. And having them around the paddock is a really, it just takes the stress away a bit. By a bit, I mean a lot, because imagine if you just went, you had a piston in one hand and a conrod in the other, and just went, has anyone got one of these? You know, people are willing to help, which is brilliant.
I think it's fair to say that we need characters like you around the paddock. And one of the things that I wanted to mention...
You rolled your eyes there, Chris. I can see you on the laptop. You're like, get rid of this.
No, we're all right. We're all right. Don't worry. You do a little online thing as well yourself, don't you, with Chrissy Rouse, who is no mean rider in his own right. So give that a bit of a flash. What's all that about? You're being a bit of an internet star now.
Oh, God, well, a bit of product placement. Chris, you'd be kicking his head in about, hey, Archie. You've got to say that in a joke. Let's see your go at that.
Chasing the racing.
That's it. You do sound like you're having a stroke, mind, Chris. Yeah. There you go. But your Geordie's not that good. But hey, no, it's better than mine on most days, to be fair. Right. But Chasing the Racing. It was a podcast that we started like over a year ago now, well over a year ago, and we're getting top guests online. But essentially doing your job, but we're allowed to swear on the pod now and then. But we don't swear on Mags Radio. Not a chance.
No, please don't. No, we'll be in a bit of bother.
Listen,
Bonnie lad. I hope you have a safe rest of 2020. Hopefully, we'll see you at some point between the hedges. We've got to wait for these things to blow over, and you and your family there, and wish your dad the best, and tell him to get off that roof. Will he? He should know better at his age. Okay, Dom. Listen, thank you very much for your time, and we'll let you get back to whatever you're doing and get back on that Schweppes tonic here in the corner. Good man, Dom. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, Chris. See you in a bit.